It's time. It's time. Yeah. Oh, I'm ready, people. It is the M.O.T.Y Awards 2023. I know that this is coming out on the 3rd of January 2024.
You serious?
However, I had to get in, the last little bit that I could in order to make this M.O.T.Y Awards complete. So make sure to like, subscribe. This is my annual movie award show where I go through the whole year and decide which movies were the cream of the crop, the greatest of the great, and the ones that take home the awards this year for the best movies of 2023. So let's hop right into it. As you know, M.O.T.Y Awards normally consist of 5 top movie selections. This year I have expanded said pool into 10 movies that I felt were the best movies of the year. Granted, there were a few that went past my radar, and excuse me for that, people. I apologize. And any ones that did go past my radar, I will do my best in order to get at least a movie reaction out of those, since they should be out on streaming services now. But yeah, man, I picked like 20 movies or something like that, and then I kind of whittled it down from there, and then we have a top 10. But to start off, I have to get to some specialty categories. Now, what we got? We got dramas, we got the best horror, we got the best comedy, and we're gonna go ahead and throw in animated movie, although the pool of this one was not as big as we would like, because there were quite a few animated movies that kind of slipped past us, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I don't feel like this was like the biggest year in terms of so many animated movies coming out. I think last year had more personally, but let's get into it. So let's go comedy, bro. Let's go comedy, because I think that the drama and horror categories are going to be a lot more contentious in my mind. So right now for horror, the main nominees that we have for the best comedy of the year, we have Dungeons and Dragons, 80s for Brady, Champions, Joyride, and Cocaine Bear. Now, this is the one caveat that I'm gonna put into, you know what I'm saying, the top 10 list. If a movie did so well that I feel like it can't sweep awards, and it's already kind of understood that it probably would be the best in this category. However, if they play so high in the actual top 10 of the bodies, then, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to give some shine to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But said movie shall be mentioned, okay? And that'll give y'all kind of a preview as to what really kind of gets way up there in the M.O.T.Y Awards, okay? So for this one, 80s for Brady was one of the surprise movies of the year for me. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not expect a lot from this movie. I'm not a big chick flick guy, and you know what I'm saying, the action adventure the adventure of these type of movies, it's always kind of the same and stereotypical. But however, in this movie, I think that it shined just because it was a bunch of old ladies getting into all these wild fucking scenarios and shenanigans, and it really just was like a great cast with Tom. You know, I'm a fucking Tom Brady fan, man. That's the GOAT, man. But it was a great movie, man. I think it surprised me in a lot of ways that I was not expecting. And to be real, I think that it overperformed for what people might have expected, especially being a movie related around sports that didn't even show no sports for real like that. But it was a good movie. Next we have Dungeons and Dragons. Really good movie, man. I will say this: it was a little bit forgettable, but I think that Chris Pine did his thing. And I always forget homegirl's name, Michelle Rodriguez, I believe is her name. Bruh, they carried this movie. It was really good. If we would have just got more fight scenes like how we got in that last bit for that final fight scene, more choreographed sets, like how we kind of got in Guardians 3, I think that this movie would have been even better because it was absurd, but it was within the confines of what we were expecting. And I think it actually did really well. Next, we have Joyride. And man, I expected nothing out of this movie. This movie came out of nowhere, and it freaking shined, dude. It shined. I don't know. I think it was just the cast. The cast just made this movie into what it was, with the MC trying to find her real family and getting all the way to that point and finding it and really loving it. But at the same time, when her friends call her out on her stuff, she tries to act like she wasn't acting different before and she came here for a day and now all of a sudden it's all different and the whole dentist trying this stuff out. Oh my goodness. That was so well done. The tattoo, that's all I'm gonna say. The tattoo was crazy, bro. The tattoo was crazy. Okay. We saw inside the walls. Hey, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. Thought it was a great movie, man. So I have to give it a little bit of shine here. Now, Champions. If you want to talk about getting a hearty laugh, like a just straight from the gut, bro, Champions is right up there with the best of them. I'm not gonna lie to you, Champions is right up there with the best of them. And to be honest, I think it might be a top. I don't think it scrapes the top 10, bro. I don't know if it quite gets to the top 10. I think that is close, but with how stacked this year's worth of movies is, I just don't think it can quite get to that top 10. I do think that if you go back to like the Johnny Knoxville film of The Ringer, I think is what it's called. I think it's called The Ringer, where he falsely enters the Special Olympics to make a killing on some gambling shit. While that movie could never come out today, that movie is honestly the hardcore inspiration I view Champions going off of. And they were able to just get away with way more in that one back then. So honestly, it did make it a little bit more funny. Because they were towing that line in this one too. Let's be real now. Like, let's not try to kill me in the comments or whatever. I'm just saying this... hey, this movie was... It was getting right on that line. That's all I'm gonna say. But it was really funny, bro. Woody Harrelson did his motherfucking thing, and bro, the kids were hilarious. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. But for any movies that you don't feel like I've given enough shine to in these M.O.T.Y Awards, I wish I could really go in depth on all these movies, but we got a whole lot of movies to get through. So yeah, man, we're just going to try to run through it as good as we can. And then Cocaine Bear, for obvious reasons, it is an amazing movie. The replay value in it is crazy. I mean crazy. I can't tell you how many times I've rewatched this movie this year. It's a freaking bear on cocaine. You know what it is. The cast in that one is just top notch. It don't get no better than that. And the fact that weeks after it had come out in theaters, I was going to the one in downtown and it was sold out still. Arm to arm, people. I'm not gonna lie. There's only a few movies that have been arm to arm for me. Like every freaking seat is filled all the way through the theater for a very long time. We have Avengers Infinity War, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Cocaine Bear. That's it. That is it. Trying to think of other ones. Yeah, bro. Like if we're really talking sold out, those are the ones, bro. Those are the ones. So that really tells you all you need to know about this movie. So for the best comedy of 2023, Cocaine Bear ranks highest in terms of the M.O.T.Y list, so it is excluded. And for our winner, we have Between Champions and Joyride. And I have to say, I haven't been in my mind right to this moment, but I think that the answer is clear. The answer is Joyride, bro. The answer is Joyride. Oh my goodness. A surprising amount of emotion came out of this movie, bro. Like, I don't know, man. This movie captured something that I haven't felt in a really long time. This took me back to when I was a kid being forced to watch these freaking chick flicks by my mother and all that. And man, I just think it hit every note, bro. Like, every one of the girls was so funny in their own way that it just made the journey that much crazier. And when they picked up the actress girl that really was the wildest one out of everybody, bro, top notch. I can't stress it enough. This was what took this movie over the edge and made it the best comedy of the year. So moving on, we have the best horror movie of the year. And for this one, I'm not gonna exclude the one that ranks highly up in the M.O.T.Y. So this might add a little bit of tension here. Okay, we have Five Nights at Freddy's, Scream, A Haunting in Venice, Pope's Exorcist, The Boogeyman, Talk to Me, The Nun, Evil Dead Rise. Now, if you want to talk about what had me the most scared, just straight up terrified the whole time, even on replay, 3-4 times out now. 3-4 times out, it still scared the fuck out of me. The Nun is wild. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. Because when I thought this bitch was powerful in the first one, oh no, turns out she's like a freaking saint that got hold, and now she on demon time. And then she got her eyes back, and about when the bitch started playing basketball with the Catholic stuff, man. Oh, that stuff was freaking crazy, bro. And the fact that Maurice was possessed like he was, oh, made it so much better. The fact that she could, the power, bro, the power to be controlling this, and this, in different locations all at the same time, and the Nun running through the smoke. Yeah! Oh, bro. I love it, man. I love that stuff, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. The Nun 2 was crazy. The Nun 2 was crazy. And I think that for, another one in the Conjuring and Annabelle and Nun series, I think that the way that the very subtle way it tied into all those was really, really good. And honestly, it was the scariest one yet to me. So I'm still looking forward to what they're coming with in that series. Whether they keep going with the Nun or not, I'm not sure, because they flash back over to, Conjure and stuff. So I'm curious to see if we go back to that. That could be I don't know. That could be pretty good. But yeah, man, great movie. Five Nights at Freddy's, I had no expectations, and it did better than I thought, bro. Is it the cream of the crop? Is it at the top of this list in terms of like horror movies? Absolutely not. I can't say that. There's several other horror movies this year that I think are better than it, but to be made in collaboration with YouTubers and people that really know the game, you could tell there was a lot of heart put into it. And when I was talking with somebody who is a hardcore friend, shout out to you, and a fan, yeah, man, there was a lot of Easter eggs put in there that, you know, the normal audience wouldn't know, but I still felt like they made it in a way to where the casual fan could kind of latch onto the story and were intrigued enough to check out for a second one. And I believe a second one's already been confirmed, so I'm looking forward to that. A Haunting in Venice. Now, this is one of those Murder on the Orient Express, you know, Death on the Nile type of movies where it's those mystery thriller movies where Detective Barrow has to solve the case and he will find the answer and salvation. Yeah, no, we get all that. We get all that, right? So, in that way, that's why this movie gets docked for me, because a lot of these movies are very, very similar. It's made by, I think, the same dude, but yeah, man, the replay value is very, very low compared to a lot of other movies, just because it relies on that mystery element. Once you know that the mystery is solved, when you go back to watch it again, it's like, it kind of takes away from it. Plus, I will say, I picked who the murderer was in this movie early, and I think that docks it a little bit, so that's why, you know, this movie takes a little bit of a hit for me. But I will say it is a good movie, and I will be rewatching it again at some point, just because the little twist that they added in there with opening up the world that Poirot knows, because while he solved the case, extra stuff went on that he can't quite explain. And even when he went back to his normal life, it stuck with him. So I'm looking forward to that next movie. Even still, that's a real niche kind of movie that if you're not into those murder mystery type of movies, then you're not really gonna gravitate towards it. But I do think that it was a solid movie overall. Now we get to the Pope's Exorcist, and man, if you want to give an award to the demon that talked the most shit of the year, this is the demon to give it to. Yes, sir. That man was on timing of that boy. It was crazy. And talk about power. Across the house. Shit was crazy. I mean, come on, man. We had to get a real deal demon hunter, Russell Crowe, to come through Father Report. Oh no, that was a battle, to say the least. But does this movie stack up to some of the other movies that are out there in this genre? No, can't say that. Even a Talk to Me or Evil Dead Rise or The Nun 2, I don't think it quite stacks up. And even honestly, scenes in The Exorcist Believer, which you will notice did not show up on this list, and with good reason. You can't have that much legacy and underperform. I apologize, maybe it's too much expectations, but you have two units, and they didn't do enough, bro. To be quite honest with you, and I shouldn't have felt this way, but this movie was more of a comedy for me than anything, because I was rolling, dog. The things that these demons were doing was so funny, it was crazy. It was mad disrespectful, and I like that, but it was like 2 jump scares throughout the movie that actually got me. Insidious, the Red Door, had more jump scares that got me than that, and it's not on this list. So when you're relying on strictly that, and then your ending's kind of wonky, the only real payoff is the fact that you actually took one of them girls that was possessed, you know, it's what it is there. But yeah, man, y'all gonna have to try again, bro. Try again, because I have a feeling for some reason that y'all ain't done messing with The Exorcist, and while this one may have underperformed, maybe y'all can redeem some. I don't see it. Please leave it alone. But hey, Lord knows, y'all don't listen to me. Talk to Me. I have to give some shine to this movie, bro. Made by the boys of Raka Raka. Shout out to them. Classic YouTube channel that I watched for a really, really long time with A24. And they did their thing, man. Is it the highest budget horror film that's out there? No, but I think that the story shines, and the fact that the main character causes so much of her own problems and is somehow able to redeem herself by the end, but the consequences are so massive. Like, that's payoff that matters, bro. And the fact that that boy lived is crazy, bro. He knocked his melon so many times. he fucking cracked his melon so many times. It was crazy. And that's a story for the kids out there. If you want to go and do some dumbass shit that you know you ain't got no business doing, that's just off some crazy shit at one of these parties, don't do that. Don't do that. Have some fucking common sense, okay? Get your whole shit snapped up and now you trapped in a hand, okay? You don't want that. You don't want that, dog. And then we get to Evil Dead Rise. This is the one, bro. This is the one. While I want to give Nun 2 its shine, no. Evil Dead Rise is the best horror movie of the year. You could make an argument that it's not as scary as Nun 2. You could. But I would argue, upon first time watching it, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Does it have more comedic moments? Absolutely. Because this bitch jumping off the top rope into the bathtub was crazy as hell. But the switch, dog, the switch where she could go from doing that and then she grips the bathtub and she peeks over. And then the next camera shot later is when she peeks around the door frame. That shit is fucking crazy. And there was no way out. There was no way for this family to truly survive this event. I feel bad for the daughter. I feel really the mom caught the work the most because the sister is a fucking bitch. How dare you lead this to her door? I mean, that's crazy, bro. But then again, it's really more on the kids. But I really do feel like it was more the aunt's fault for even coming there in the first place. I don't think none of that shit would have got popping unless that happened because of her shady past. Oh, it's just a shame. Girl was already about to get evicted and her man left her and she fine too. And then she got turned into an absolute unit. And you want to talk about somebody that put in work? There was put in work and beyond, to infinity and beyond. The demon in Evil Dead Rise was one of the hardest motherfuckers that you'd ever seen in cinematic history. I put it right there. And the fact that the very first scene is actually the last scene. And the first scene is one of the craziest scenes because the bitch rolls up out of the water with the battle scars and marks ready to go like she was Naruto. Woo! Hey man, that's how you get the blood pumping. That's how you get it going. While Nun 2 had the most unique jump scares, I would say, I don't think that Evil Dead Rise was a slouch in that department either. Just creative stuff, bro. The way that one scene where she was crawling on the wall in the background, you don't hear nothing. Bro, that was so good. The camera shot out the peephole where she's walking back and forth like she about to fuck niggas up, and she does. Oh. Marvelous. Marvelous. And now we get to the dramas. This one is an insane part of the M.O.T.Y Awards because I would have never imagined that these movies wouldn't be truly in contention for the best movie of the year. Not all of them anyway. Now, several, well, I don't know about that. Some make the list for the top 10. But, man, ones that I didn't expect to not be there are not there, bro. They're not there. So we have Killers of the Flower Moon. I feel like it's obvious to go ahead and get that one out there. Martin Scorsese, Leo DiCaprio, Brendan Fraser, and all types of other people. They did their thing, man. They did their thing. I think this movie just suffers, bro, because it's just too long. And while the story is very, very interesting, It's just, you're gonna watch this a very select occasions when you have a lot of time on a Sunday afternoon type shit. That's when you're gonna watch this type of movie. You know what I'm saying? Robert De Niro has a case for being the best villain of the year, and to be honest, I think that he is. Because, bro, the way he fucked these people over, the Indians that he acted like his friends and his own family, he fucked them all over just out of greed, bro. And the way he still tried to maintain that he was still friends with all of them was wild, bro. No accountability. And he got less jail time than Leo did. Oh, that was a wild thing to see. But I have no sympathy for you either, Leo. Because what you did to your wife was crazy, bro. It was crazy. Yeah, it could have all worked out, but he was just a dumbass, bro. Like, I hate to chalk it up to straight stupid, but that's what he was. He was straight stupid. Napoleon. Joaquin Phoenix carries this movie, and unfortunately, that is what is also the detriment to this movie. It is the Joaquin Phoenix show. There's nobody else. And I mean nobody else except for maybe the wife. At the same time, that's, I would say, of equal level in terms of acting in this movie. And while it was largely centered around them, but it just didn't feel like the people that ended up taking down Napoleon didn't carry that gravitas that you would feel was necessary to take down Napoleon. Maybe they were just smart generals and all that other stuff. He did get hella reckless later in his life and all that. But in terms of the movie, I think that you needed somebody to go against him that was more formidable at the time. If maybe you could have shown that from the Tsar, that, Napoleon tried to marry his sister, if you would have shown him flip that switch and be that menacing, then it would have worked. But we really only got to see him act like a bitch, and then apparently he had grabbed his nuts, but that was off screen. So it was a mixed bag with Napoleon, but great scenes, so well directed. I do think that this one is a little better than the last Ridley Scott film. To me, I think it's a little bit better than the last Duel. Just because Joaquin Phoenix is so good, bro. He's so good. And for how long this movie was, it didn't feel like it was that long. Like, it was damn near as long as Killers of the Flower Moon. But it was really good. It was really good. Next, we have The Covenant. And I want to give a real shout out to this movie, bro. Because Jake Gyllenhaal did good, but his name escapes me now, but a dude that played with him in this is an army movie, but it's one of those army movies that you really get attached to the characters, and it's an epic of sorts. Like, it's a journey to survive with two people from two very, very different backgrounds that come together off of some fluke stuff, and then a bond that lasts lifetimes ends up forming. And the ups and downs that you had through this movie was so good, bro. Just even to get to the point where his friend ends up helping him get out of the desert, for him to get out, and then he comes to find out that he's still stuck over there and he's trying to get his family out, and he sneaks back in. And that scene where he's sitting there and he's like, how much to get this fixed? And he turns and sees that it's him, and they can't react because, there's surveillance on and stuff like that. But it's just like, oh God, the heart, bro. The heart, it just shined through in that movie, man. I think that the only problem with this movie was that transition period where, Jake Gyllenhaal's making calls and trying to do things the diplomatic way. Took too long with that whole portion of the movie. I feel like we could have sped that up, and maybe it would have helped the movie out just a little bit. Oppenheimer was, it's what it is. Oppenheimer is a great movie, and honestly, I feel like it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so over time it's only gonna get better. The more and more I rewatch it, the more I like it. It's certainly too long. I will say this. This is, while I do like it more than Dunkirk, it is probably my least favorite Christopher Nolan film since Dunkirk. Because I don't know if he might have only released Tenet during that time. So maybe that's the case. But yeah, man, I think this is a good movie. Cillian Murphy kills it. The whole cast kills it. Like the cast of Christopher Nolan movies, you don't have to worry about that. Shit goes crazy. But I will say that you don't get the full message of this movie on a first watch. You have to watch this movie multiple times in order to truly get it. And I think that's the only thing that kind of holds this movie back. Because once you rewatch it multiple times, you're like, holy shit. And you figure out that, the camera shots in the black and white is the objective and the other ones are not. And then you're figuring out the differences in perspectives. Bro, my goodness. It gets a fucking 7.5 straight out the fact that Florence. Woo! Woo-hoo! Okay, let me relax. But yeah, man. Great movie. I think that Oppenheimer is certainly one of the top 10 movies of the year. I would think, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe my list is off. So for the winner of this section, we have Oppenheimer. Yes, sir. I think that it's by a narrow margin. And while I think that Knock at the Cabin Door might be the closest one to it in terms of, like, I don't know, just the replay factor, the pacing, and how good it was. Batista showed out in Knock at the Cabin Door, and the message that you take from that movie is so great. I just think that Oppenheimer it was too stacked to not come home with this category. I think that Napoleon and Killers of the Flower Moon, someone surprised me, bro. Someone surprised me because I firmly believed that both of these movies would be smack in the middle of contention for movie of the year. I don't think they were. Killers of the Flower Moon, most of it is due to the pacing, but also it just, I don't know. I think it's mostly pacing and maybe just the topic that was covered in the movie. Because people was on dirt, man. People was on dirt, and really just to see someone get taken advantage of that long and not do nothing about it, it's hard to watch and go back to it and want to keep rewatching. As you'll find out, replay factor is a big part of how I judge these movies, you know what I'm saying? So I have to say that Oppenheimer takes the cake. While it is long, the cast was stacked, the directing is crazy, and the way that it climaxes at the end with him, you know what I'm saying, when you find out what he told Einstein, wild. It just makes that decision to actually go through with what they did that much crazier, bro. It really does. But I would say that Knock at the Cabin Door was a very, very close second. Now we get into the top 10 of the M.O.T.Y Awards. And first off, let's go ahead and start with the honorable mentions. We have Meg 2, Napoleon, Knock at the Cabin Door, 65, and Hunger Games, The Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds. Songbirds and Snakes, how the fuck you say it. Okay, and I just want to kind of run off all the movies that are really in contention for this one. We have Wonka, Godzilla, Napoleon, Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Creator, Oppenheimer, Meg 2, The Trench, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Fast 10, Super Mario Bros, John Wick 4, Creed 3, Cocaine Bear, Quantumania, Evil Dead Rise, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, 65, The Covenant, Knock at the Cabin, Color Purple, Iron Claw, Aquaman. You know, the list goes on and on, people. I watched a lot of movies, okay? I watched a whole lot of movies. And last little category I had to get to before we really got to this top 10 is Animated Movie of the Year. Quick Shine, the JJK movie was really, really good. I'm putting it in this one, even though I know it came out last year, but just because it didn't come out on Crunchyroll to this year, that's why I'm counting it. I thought it was really, really good. Some of the best stories I've seen on JJK. Okay, I like those. Spider-Man 2 Across the Spider-Verse is amazing. It really is amazing, but didn't get enough of O'Hara. Needed more of him to really, really sell me on that movie. You could tell that they were holding back, and I felt like the villain was more compelling for what he was doing in that part and his motivation and all that in part 1. Okay, I think that part 2 of this, you know what I'm saying, Spider-Verse movie is going to be the best one yet. I just want to put that out there. The best animated movie of the year is Super Mario Bros. It's no question. It's no question. You want to talk about replay value of all the movies that we have here? This might be the highest one of anybody. You put this on, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when, house party, family gathering, holiday, don't matter. Put that hoe on, that hoe gon' jam. That hoe gon' jam. So, just wanted to make sure that y'all knew who the animated movie of the year was. Now, let's get to the top 10. And we're starting from 10. Starting from 10. This might be one of the greatest falls in all of movie watching history for me, in terms of what I thought was a great movie to what it is by the end of the movie. Now it's still in the top 10. So obviously I think it's a really good movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's a really good movie. But I must say that Creed 3 is not as great as I thought it was, because at one point, now this is before another movie came out, but at one point it was my best movie of the year. Now this was very early in the year because it was March, so a whole lot of movies had yet to come out, so I give myself a little grace on that. You know what I'm saying? I think the only one that didn't rank higher than at that point was like Cocaine Bear. You know what I'm saying? We were still way early into the movies, right? The feud with Diamond Dame Anderson, I liked it a whole lot. Y'all know what I think of Jonathan Majors. I think he's top notch. I think he's a great talent, and I think that he did his freaking thing. Is the story a little bit out of nowhere because this person just, you know, pops up out of nowhere that we had never heard about before and comes into Donnie's life, and now all of a sudden he's getting a shot at the champion? Yeah, that's a little bit. I can see how that rubbed people the wrong way a little bit. I think people put a little bit too much flack on the movie for Sylvester Stallone not being there. It's Creed. It's a different thing. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what to tell y'all. Y'all gonna have to get over it, bro. Y'all gonna have to get over it. Let Creed be its own thing. They're clearly trying to go that way. Let them go that way. I do think they need to work a little bit more on storyboard, because I do think that 1 and 2 were more compelling in terms of like the setup of the story, just because of how out of nowhere the third one kind of seems, especially at that juncture in his career, to be taking that type of fight. But that's kind of where I view Creed 3. Number 9, we have Oppenheimer. For a lot of the reasons that I detailed before, the cast is just so stacked, bro. It's a great movie, dog. And the more you watch it, the more things that you'll take from it, which is how a lot of Christopher Nolan movies are. And we enjoy it, bro. For fans of him, you is eating good. And if you want a movie to own on Blu-ray, 4K, all that shit, that's the movie that you need to go ahead and go get. Cillian Murphy is, I apologize. He said his name is pronounced Cillian Murphy. He is amazing, dude. It's time for people to stop sleeping on how good of an actor he really is and start to appreciate just how high up in the scene he is, bro. He's one of the best of our generation. It's time niggas kind of understood that. Okay, number 8 is Evil Dead Rise. This is wild. This is wild because I don't know if I've ever had a horror movie ranked this high up in the rankings before. This movie was really high on my list earlier in the year as well, and that's also due to how many movies that come out. The bitch was a unit, man. What you want me to say? Just her, the way she took that role and went ham with it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Next, we have Wonka, bro. And man, I have to give Wonka this. For all of the trepidation that I'm sure people had and that I had leading up to the movie, it just performed, bro. It just performed. Now, if you're not, I can understand if you don't have this one in your top movie awards, if you're not a musical person. Just as I understand why, like, you know, Color Purple might not be some people's thing. Like, that was turned into a musical, so it's very much different from what you're accustomed to, and it takes a certain type of fan to really mess with musicals like that. But I think that Wonka really hit the mark, bro. I was having a difficult time picking which songs that I didn't really mess with. All I know is the first and the third song, I think, were the two songs that I didn't mess with at all. A World of Your Own and A World of Your Imagination. The Oompa Loompa song, bro. The Noodle song, For a Moment. I mean, you could go on and on. This movie was so good, bro. And it hit the feels. To come up with an origin story for Wonka must be so difficult, bro. Because it is something that I don't think we've really seen before. We haven't seen that before. And to give him that kind of character, I thought that did wonders for this movie, bro. It really, really did. Timothy Chalamet did his damn thing, but the cast was entertaining as hell. Scrub It and Bleacher were great. The Chocolate Cartel was great. Okay, I can't stress this enough. Noodle. Yes, we like those. So I have to give Wonka its credit. Number 6, Godzilla -1. I did not expect this movie. I did not expect this movie to rank this highly, but man, oh man, did it overperform everything that I thought that it could. Only given a budget of like 20 mil, and they blew the doors off this bitch, bro. Not even going to all the nerd shit like the fucking atomic breath. That is one of the craziest things we've ever seen, and the nigga's blade popping out his back and all that. The Godzilla, okay. But the homage they were paying to the old school style that they were doing, the creative angles that they was using with Godzilla, showing him earlier in the movie when he's more agile and things like that. When he pulls back up, we're doing naval battles and things like, it's just variety, bro. And then he's coming through the city and you got news reporters reporting on that shit as he's trying to go by. That shit was fucking peak. And to actually make us care about human characters, my God, that's something that's never been accomplished in all the Godzilla movies that we've seen thus far, bro. Like, let's keep it real. The relationship between Noriko and Koichi is fucking top tier, bro. It's not so fucking cookie cutter and stereotypical that, oh, male interest falls in love with the female interest. Oh, they have happy-go-lucky family. No, it's real life. It's good stuff, man. It's really good stuff. Godzilla -1 ranks up there. If you have a problem with English dub and all that stuff, well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I really think that this is a great movie. You can just get over the subtitles. I think it really, really works. It just feels like you understand what the characters are going through, bro. Especially the main character's struggles and tribulations that he's going through and how he resolves it by the end. Just so good. Now, we get to the top 5 of the year. These are the best 5 movies of 2023. And I want to thank everybody for making it this far, man. This has been a great award show. I've had a lot of fun doing it. This was a lot of hours of putting in at the movies, man. I watched a whole lot of these multiple times. Every one of these in this top 5, I watched them at least 4 or 5 times a piece. Not gonna lie to you. Like, it gets that wild. But I have to say, man, thank you for all y'all support, man. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. We're a ways away. I know that, but I have faith that we gonna get there, and I appreciate all y'all support. Like, subscribe. Let's get into it. Number 5, we have Super Mario Bros. For a animated movie to rank this high up in the list is a monumental occurrence and occasion. I can't stress to you how easy it could have been to fuck this up. It could have been so easy. But they didn't, bro. They hit this hole right on the mark. Peach was great. Mario was great. Luigi was great. Chris Pratt was fine, bro. The way they would pop in and out of the Italian shits because they're second generation Italians. Yeah, we like those. Jack Black as Bowser was so funny, but he was so good. He was so good, bro. And the heart and the just the determination by these brothers, man. When Luigi steps in and he shields his mans from the motherfucking blast. And then they both hit the star at the same time. Woo! Let's get in that win! Yes, sir. We love those. That was a great movie, a great ride. And honestly, not super long, and the pacing was amazing, bro. Like, I don't have a lot of flaws to point out with that movie. I think that was the best animated movie of the year, and for me, it's the 5th best movie of the year. Number 4, we have Cocaine Bear. Now I know, I know that this might throw a lot of people for a loop here. Okay, to go with my 4 and 5 are Cocaine Bear and the Super Mario Bros. When I have Godzilla, Wonka, Evil Dead Rise, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Hunger Games, all these other ones on the outside. I know, bro. I know. But you have to think about this, bro. You have to think about this. You think about your replay value. Yeah? You think about how it made you feel at the time you watched it versus how you feel when you rewatch it, and if it still gives you that same type of joy, that shit matters. Some of them other ones that was mentioned that fall just on the outside, you know what I'm saying? They're a whole lot longer, not as well paced. Cocaine Bear and Super Mario Bros. Keep your attention through and through. You're not checking your clock. And while Cocaine Bear might be the dumbest premise for a movie that you could find, it is so good and it is so rewatchable, and one of the movies you could put on at any point, niggas gonna watch it, don't matter what setting it is. That's why it works. Okay, shout out to Ray Liotta too. Rest in peace, bro. Miss you, man. But yeah, bro. Cocaine Bear is one of the top movies of the year, man. You want to talk about giving you a laugh, a gut-busting laugh, and for the bear to be the villain, but not the villain, and it still works. I don't know how they pulled it off. Shout out to the cop, bro. That motherfucker was funny. He was so funny, bro. He was so funny. But I have to give special props to them, man, because that was a special movie that really came out of nowhere and just over. I think that was one of my better trailer reactions I ever did, and it still overperformed what I thought it was gonna be. I have to give it respect, bro. I have to. Now, we have Fast 10. We have Fast 10. And I want to say that this movie for a very long time was right up there in the ranks for being the best movie of the year. Jason Momoa stole the show. He stole the fucking show, people. This is the best. Is it the best? Yeah. It's the best Fast and Furious movie that you've seen in a long time. That's what I'll say. It's the best Fast and Furious movie you've seen in a really long time. I didn't get this feeling since like maybe what was it, like 4 or 5 when The Rock came about. Bro, just revive the series. And I only want one more and then we're done, bro. Dante comes out like he's the actual devil, and to fuck over Cypher like how you did, to immediately squash the villain that y'all was just going against. And it's taking everybody. Now we're going to get The Rock. We had Jason Statham. We had everybody. Han came back. Everybody. And we still can't take down this man. All the best laid plans. You send this man off a cliff and he's laughing and he survives because he's got Reacher in his back pocket. Like, what? Nothing stronger than family. But my God. Dante's putting up a motherfucking fight. Was it a little ridiculous that he was standing in the bank vault like that? Yes, it was. But it worked, bro, because the man came out on time, and for the first time he stepped on the motherfucking scene. To just do that to Cypher, I can't stress enough how fucking clean that was. The whole Rome scene, trying to chase down the bomb, and then the man got in the mix! The man got in the mix, and that's what I can't stress enough. The man went and got a part of the action when he didn't have to. Okay? He didn't have to do that. He's the boss. He don't have to do that. He did it anyway. I love it. I love it, bro. So that's why Fast 10 has to ring up there for me. You beat the Toretto family for the time being. Got a part 2, so we're going to see what happens. Number 2 and number 1. Now, if you've been following me throughout the year, you might know who the number 1 is, but I'm sure the number 2 might be a little bit of a surprise. I haven't mentioned them much in this review here, but I have to say, man, this was tough on me, bro. This was tough on me, but the number 1 is clear. The number 1 movie of the year is John Wick 4. It's John Wick 4. And the number 2 movie is The Creator. So let me go to The Creator. John David Washington is one of the best starts I've ever seen to a movie career of all time. You come out with Tenet, then you hit Amsterdam, and now we have Creator. Bro, the bond between him and that child, I can't put it into words how poetic it was, and then how he goes out by the end to actually save the child, and he's reunited with his wife. Bro, that gave me straight Gladiator vibes, bro, as he's walking through the field of reeds. That's how John David was in this movie, bro. Oh, to go from where he was after he had screwed up everything and lost his woman, to finding this kid, going against all the people that, you know, told him to go on this mission in the first place, and really using their resources and everything, but it's fucking up. Everything's going bad. To finding her again, just to have to let her go. Top tier movie, bro. Top tier movie. The kid, and I normally don't like kid actors, bro, but that kid played that motherfucking role. She played her ass off, and it was a great movie, bro. For that one, like, just blew my mind, bro. That's a classic type of movie, bro. I really and truly feel that way. That's one that you add into the collection, and you play that bitch, cause you know that hoe gonna hit. You know that hoe's gonna hit, and that's why I think that this year's worth of movies was so good, because there's so many movies. Even if you want to go with ones that's outside of my top 5, like let's say Cocaine Bear and Super Mario Bros. Ain't your thing. You go to the Oppenheimers, you go to the Godzilla minus ones, you go to the Killers of the Flower Moon. There are so many movies that came out this year that just, it's cinema, bruh. It is just what cinema is supposed to be. It's really just that simple, bruh. And I have to give creator credit where it's due. I think that it hit all the marks, man. It hit all the marks. And the only reason why it's not the movie of the year is because who is number one? And that is John Wick. John Wick 4, when you thought it could get no better, it simply and undisputably only gets better. You added Donnie Yen. What the fuck is we talking about? That's basically in the discussion right there. Because this man is a damn menace. He is too much. The fight between him and Koji was stupid. Every fight, including him, was dumb. It was just so good. And then the fights between John and the German getting down. The German was getting down, bro. Doing spinning kicks and all types of shit. And it culminating with John having to get out of the light the only way that was ever possible, bro. They finally took out John Wick, but he's able to save his friend Kane. And Kane is Donnie Yen. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, man. The Frenchman showed his fucking ass in this movie. He was so good, and you know that he can't box. But it works, bro, because he's on fucking timing. Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, bro. And for John to really be the son of the manager, bro, that just hits so much harder. That makes you think about the whole series and put it into context of, like, think of what this man did to his own son. Crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. There was emotion. There was the action. Like, this is one of the movies that, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is redefined what is required when you put out a action movie in this year. You feel what I'm saying? Like, when you put out a action movie, this is now the gold standard. You may not hit this, but you need to take notes at least, because fuck, this movie was so good. This movie was so good when it came to the creativeness of the action scenes, the sets, the sequences, the fucking shot where it's going over. It looks like you're inside the house, but you're seeing all the rooms and you're seeing John Wick move through that bitch. The scene, fuck it, throw it on the ground. The scene with the Eiffel Tower where they're running around the traffic circle and shit's going crazy. Oh my God. Mr. Nobody trying to pop up and be a real nigga, but you don't want to realize you don't try to get Jordani on the ground. You don't do it, man. Oh, wonderful movie. That one might be the only like 10 out of 10 level movie for real. And yeah, it's like 3 hours long. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is one of the only times where I'll tell you it does not matter. It is so good from start to finish. You won't regret that movie experience. I just had to say, the only way you won't like it is if you just don't like, violence. Period. That is what it is. So those are the top 10 movies of 2023. My honorable mentions that I had to put in there. I had to put in Meg 2, The Trench. That movie simply dove into what it knew it already was, but even more so. And just to have to fight off a Megalodon pack was ridiculous. It was so much fun, bro. I firmly believed that I was going to trash that movie, and it ended up being like an 8 out of 10. That's how good it was, okay? So I have to put that out there for y'all. Knock at the Cabin was so good, bro. You know how M. Night Shyamalan hits and misses sometimes and all that, but this was definitely a hit. I thought that the message that you took from this movie was amazing. Batista showed out, and the rest of the cast was really good too. So I really, really like that movie. Napoleon, already talked about how Joaquin Phoenix may have given one of the performances of the year, if you want me to be honest. Like, of all the different movies, the best performance, you know, you could give something like that to Napoleon or Killers of the Flower Moon, to be quite honest. You could give that to, like, Leo and Joaquin. Just, they showed what type of master class that they were at. And while there was more cast to back up Leo and Killers of the Flower Moon, I think that Napoleon is the one that, you know, it's a little more self-reliant on him. But just the fucking scenes of him trying to listen to what the Pharaoh is saying that had already been buried, like, everything, and the fucking aggression that he had toward niggas talking about he couldn't do what he was trying to do. He said, "You think you're so great because you have boats?" Yeah. That shit was so good. He slapped his wife crazy, bro. You get together. That shit was crazy, bro. But that was still a really, really good movie, bro. 65. This is a movie that'll way go under people's radars, and people will not expect it to be in an honorable mention type of format. But I had to put it in here just because I feel like this is one of the sleeper movies of the year that you can't deny was, you know, it was good, bro. Like, you didn't really know what it was going to be, and the fact that it was dinosaurs and sci-fi type shit, how do you mix those two together? Did a fantastic job. The emotions in this movie hit. The shit that this man was going through was crazy. Like, he went through the gauntlet to try to get through this thing. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. So, the fact that came out of it had a really good ending. I really, really appreciated that. It's just, the emotions in this movie hit. They hit on a different level than I would say a whole lot of the movies of this year. And then Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Songbirds, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm sorry. The Fall of Snow, bro. Snow always ends up on top, but my God, this man fell, and I didn't see it coming for real. Like, it literally didn't click until the very end, and I was like, "Oh, that's the president. That's the president." And the fact that Gaul was really walking in through the steps and he didn't know it on some Kang shit, and bro, like, he really loved that girl, but she just wasn't meant to be. It all went wrong. And then, so those are my honorable mentions of the year. And for my worst movies of the year, there's only two that strictly come to mind. Have to say, Scream was awful. You had a bunch of bad bitches. That's about all you had, and your humor wasn't landing. Your fourth wall breaking was fucking dumb, and I hated it. I'm sorry. This was one of the hardest movies to get through. And then we had House Party. That was just, you try to get us to care about that main character who's trying to get enough money for his daughter, and nobody cares because we don't even see the daughter or nothing like that, and you did nothing to endear us to the character. So I hate saying LeBron, but just step away from the movie making business. It might not be for you, brother. It might not be for you. Go fund Christopher Nolan or something, but don't fund these bullshit ass projects. Space Jam 2, and then this. No, bro. It don't work, and it did not work. And then lastly, Knights of the Zodiac, because I just had to include that in there. It is a movie that I have tried to fucking watch about 5-6 times now. Can't get more than 15 minutes into it. It makes me mad, but, you know, I guess that's where we're at. And I will bring y'all reactions to that because I am going to watch and finish that movie. But that was the M.O.T.Y Awards for 2023, people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and liking the videos. I'm going to bring y'all a whole lot more in the future. Trailer reactions, reactions to anime and TV shows. I finally figured out how to do it, so I'm going to bring y'all those, at least one of those a week. And yeah, man, it's your boy. Like, subscribe, I'm out. Yeah, M.O.T.Y, baby.